Hi everyone. In this video, I'll be going through 10 recommendations of horror movies and series that I feel deserve more attention. Some are hidden gems, some are more popular that you may have seen, but I think still deserve a rewatch. As I am recommending these films to people who haven't seen them, I'm going to try to avoid spoilers. These are all my personal opinions. If you disagree or have something to add, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My heart can't beat unless you tell it to. In this psychological horror that's really more of a drama, siblings Jesse and Dwight care for their younger brother Thomas, who is chronically ill with vampirism. Jesse and Dwight murder strangers to feed Thomas with. This is a slow burn, harrowingly realistic take on the vampire myth, with gorgeous cinematography that is at times intimate and at times vast, set against beautiful Utah landscapes. As I am from Utah, it was really cool seeing where I'm from represented on screen like this. Tetsuo 2, Body Hammer. This cyberpunk body horror is a quasi-sequel to the 1989 cult classic Tetsuo the Iron Man. In my opinion, this is the better film of the two. If you're looking for chaos, insanity, and absurdity, you can find it all right here. This film tells the story of a salaryman seeking revenge on a metal-worshipping cult, but the plot goes much deeper than anything I can briefly summarize here. It's an incredibly unique vision, and I feel director Tsukamoto was able to express that vision in this film with more clarity than in its predecessor. One thing that stands out to me is the iconic character design seen throughout this film. In terms of iconic design, this is on par with something like Jim Henson's Labyrinth to me. 1408. Based on Stephen King's short story, 1408, the film follows a haunted house investigator and author, Mike, as he stays in a supposedly haunted hotel room. While I don't think this is a perfect film by any means, it's definitely worth watching. In the first half of the film, there is an air of genuine, agonizing suspense, as Mike is repeatedly warned not to go into the room, and that tension only escalates once he does. There are actually 4 alternative endings to the film, which I feel vastly alter the entire mood of the film, depending on which one you watch, so there are several unique experiences you can have with this film. The Vigil. If you're sick of Hollywood's insistence on making only Catholic-based religious horror, check out The Vigil, which is a supernatural horror based on Orthodox Judaism. It follows a man named Yaakov, who has left the Orthodox Jewish community, but is convinced to participate in a vigil over a recently deceased Holocaust survivor. As the night goes on, Yaakov starts to feel he's not alone. This is a very emotional horror film that still leaves you looking over your shoulder. It's very scary, but also a really unique take on horror, as religious horror doesn't often leave the bubble of Catholicism. One Last Dive. When talking about horror, you can't ignore what takes up arguably the biggest piece of the overall horror film pie, which is the horror short film. Many big blockbuster horror films, such as Lights Out and Smile, started out as simple short films. I myself, as well as many other people in my life, have created numerous horror shorts. Anyone with a friend and a camera tries their hand at it, and yet, One Last Dive is the one that does it best. At only a minute long, it masterfully sets up an entire story and a scare, relying only on visuals, and it's incredibly effective. Out of any film on this list, this is the one to watch right after this video, and with it being only a minute, there's no excuse not to. Shin Godzilla. With Godzilla -1 coming out recently, let's not forget about Japan's other most recent Godzilla film from 2016. This is my personal favorite Godzilla movie, and while I'm sure many of you watching this have seen it, this is your sign to watch it again. We all know the story of Godzilla, but this is the film that does it best. The government's handling or mishandling of the attack is just as tense as the attack itself. Godzilla's evolution is a marvel to see, and it's insane how this film was able to reinvent the wheel with a familiar yet totally new take on our favorite giant lizard. Marianne. Marianne is a French horror miniseries that follows a horror author named Emma, who is faced with her horror characters becoming realized in the real world. One of Emma's childhood friends finds her and tells her her mother believes she is Marianne, a witch from one of Emma's books. The series follows Emma as she revisits locations from her childhood to piece together what's going on. It's an incredibly scary series with actress Muriel Herbstmeyer giving a particularly outstanding, iconic, and chilling performance. If for no other reason, watch the series for her. It has an engaging pace and the exact amount of scares to keep you on your toes. Unfortunately, the series was canceled after one season, but I still felt it ended in a relatively okay place that I can accept as its finale. Ghostwatch. Another popular film, Ghostwatch is a mockumentary horror TV special with a reception similar to Orson Welles' infamous 1938 War of the Worlds broadcast. The film is presented as a live broadcast event where a news team attempts to document proof of the paranormal in the haunted home. The film caused a panic in the UK on Halloween night when it aired, as the public believed it to be real. Gimmicks aside, even knowing it was fictional when I saw it, the film still managed to get under my skin. The twists and turns of the story kept me engaged throughout, and I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. It goes to great lengths to create the illusion of realism, and there were times even I forgot it wasn't real. Junkhead. This stop-motion masterpiece follows a cyborg as he explores an underground megastructure and meets various characters and creatures along the way. What makes this film so impressive is that it was made almost entirely by one self-taught individual across 7 years. It overflows with creativity and passion and is as grotesque as it is beautiful. The work that went into this speaks for itself. Junkhead is truly epic, and I can't wait for its sequel, Junkworld, which was recently announced. Junkhead is a masterpiece. Its scale is like nothing I've ever seen before. If you enjoyed Phil Tippett's Mad God, you will love Junkhead. I think everyone should watch this. The Kingdom. I saved the best for last on this list. Lars von Trier's supernatural horror miniseries, The Kingdom. This series consists of 3 seasons, The Kingdom 2, and The Kingdom Exodus. I've watched this series a few times, and its overlapping plots, outrageous antics, and memorable characters get better every time. The Kingdom is a parody of schlocky hospital soap opera shows, parodizing them with something that is actually well-written and well-acted with an enticing underlying mystery. While there are many characters the show focuses on, the 2 main protagonists are Mrs. Drusa, the kind-hearted psychic committed to unlocking the secrets of the haunted hospital, and Dr. Helmer, who is the most determined hater of any media ever produced. While opposite to each other, their performances carry the show and keep me engaged every moment they are on screen. I may have to make a separate video on The Kingdom because I have more thoughts on this than I can say here, but please watch this series. If you have any horror recommendations for me, please let me know. I'm always looking for more obscure or less appreciated film. Until next time.